Most people don't realize it, but their lives are being stolen, not by fate, not by circumstance, but by their own lack of control. Every day, distractions pull them away from what truly matters. Their energy is drained by meaningless pursuits. Their time is wasted on things that bring no real value, and their minds are consumed by noise instead of clarity. They react instead of leading. They hesitate instead of acting. They exist instead of mastering their lives. But the Stoics knew that true power, the kind that lasts, the kind that transforms, is built in silence, through discipline, and with an unyielding focus on the essentials. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." The greatest mistake people make is assuming they have time to waste. They believe they can put off mastery, that they can let distractions rule them for just a little longer, that they can postpone taking full control of their attention, their habits, and their purpose. But those who live by Stoic principles know that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Only this moment is within your control. This episode is not just about theory, it's about execution. We are breaking down 10 Stoic principles that will help you master your focus, discipline your mind, and move towards silent success. The kind that doesn't seek applause, the kind that speaks for itself. If you're ready to stop being passive in your own life and start taking full command of it, these lessons will show you how. Let's begin with the first key. Don't let the noise steal your life. How to take control of your attention. Your mind is under attack. Every moment of the day, distractions compete for your attention. Social media feeds designed to keep you scrolling, notifications engineered to interrupt your focus, and an endless stream of opinions that drown out your own thoughts. And most people, without realizing it, surrender. They wake up and immediately check their phones, filling their heads with information before they've even had a chance to think for themselves. They go through the day reacting instead of acting, consumed by external noise instead of inner clarity. But a Stoic does not allow outside forces to dictate their mental state. They understand that what you give your attention to, you give your life to. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You must reclaim yourself at once. The time you are given is short." Every moment spent on distractions is a moment stolen from your growth, your goals, your mastery. And yet, most people live as if their focus is unlimited, as if they can afford to waste time on things that do not serve them. But the difference between those who lead and those who follow, between those who succeed and those who struggle, comes down to one thing: who controls their attention? Think about the last time you sat in silence without reaching for a device, without seeking stimulation, without feeling the need to consume. Most people can't do it. They have trained themselves to crave distraction, to avoid stillness, to let their minds be filled by whatever external forces demand their focus. But Epictetus reminds us, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. In other words, not everything deserves your attention. The strongest minds are not those who know the most trivial information. They are those who filter out the noise and focus only on what truly matters. To reclaim control, you must first decide what deserves your attention. Not all information is valuable, not all debates are worth engaging in, and not all distractions are harmless. Every time you engage with something meaningless, you weaken your ability to focus on what is meaningful. Before reacting, before checking, before scrolling, ask yourself, does this add value to my life? If the answer is no, walk away. Next, train yourself to embrace stillness. People avoid silence because they fear their own thoughts, but silence is where clarity is found. Seneca warned, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If your mind is always occupied by external distractions, you will never know yourself. And if you do not know yourself, you cannot master yourself. Start small, 5 minutes of quiet in the morning, a daily walk without distractions, an hour dedicated to deep work where nothing interrupts you. The more you train yourself to focus, the stronger your mind becomes. And finally, guard your energy as fiercely as you guard your time. Attention is life force. Every moment spent on things that weaken you, pointless arguments, mindless entertainment, excessive consumption, is a moment you will never get back. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. If you want a strong mind, protect it. If you want discipline, build it through focus. If you want control, stop giving your attention away to those who seek to manipulate it. A distracted mind leads to a distracted life. A focused mind builds an unshakable one. Choose wisely." 2. Take control of your life before others control it. If you do not take full command of your own life, someone else will. Most people go through life passively, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them, waiting for permission instead of taking action. They let society, family, employers, and even random strangers dictate what they should do, how they should think, and who they should become. But the Stoics understood that true freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is having the power to do what you must. Marcus Aurelius warned against living without direction, writing, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless it is for some mutual benefit." And yet, most people waste their days worrying about what others expect of them, following paths they never truly chose, stuck in patterns of thought and behavior that serve everyone but themselves. If you do not actively take charge of your mind, your emotions, and your habits, you will always be at the mercy of external forces. Think about how much of your life has been shaped by obligations you never questioned. Maybe you pursued a career because it was expected of you. Maybe you kept quiet about your real desires because you feared disappointing others. Maybe you've let distractions, temptations, or societal pressures pull you away from what truly matters to you. But the reality is, no one will ever hand you control of your life. You must seize it yourself before it's too late. A Stoic does not live in reaction mode. They do not wait for circumstances to align perfectly. They do not let others dictate their choices. Instead, they act with deliberate intention. They recognize that no one, not family, not society, not fate, has as much control over their future as they do. Epictetus made this clear when he said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You are not free if your emotions control you. You are not free if your habits are dictated by external pressures. You are not free if your time is owned by the expectations of others. Taking back control starts with owning your decisions. No more excuses, no more blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck. Every choice you make, from how you spend your time to how you react to challenges, is within your power. If you are not where you want to be, change something. If you don't like your habits, break them. If you know something needs to be done, do it now, not later. Seneca warned, "While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." Waiting will not make you stronger. Action will. Another key to self-mastery is developing unshakable discipline. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions. They wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They procrastinate because things feel difficult. But motivation is unreliable. The Stoic operates differently. They do what must be done whether they feel like it or not. They wake up early, they train their minds, they execute their plans, because they understand that discipline is freedom. When you control your habits, you control your future. Finally, stop seeking external permission to be yourself. No one will ever fully approve of your choices. No one will give you a roadmap for the life you truly want. You must be the one who decides. You must trust yourself enough to lead your own life instead of following someone else's script. If you do not take control, the world will do it for you. Your time, your focus, your very identity will be shaped by forces outside of your control. But the moment you decide, truly decide, that your life is yours, everything changes. You step out of the passenger seat and into the driver's seat. You stop reacting and start leading. You take ownership of your actions, your mindset, and your path. And that is what separates those who drift through life from those who master it. 3. Discipline and sacrifice. Why success never comes without a price. Everyone wants success, but few are willing to pay the price. They want the results, but not the discipline. They want the rewards, but not the sacrifice. They admire the strength of others but refuse to endure the training required to build their own. But the Stoics knew that nothing worthwhile comes easily. Every great achievement, whether in personal growth, business, or mastery of the mind, demands discipline, effort, and the willingness to suffer in the short term for something greater in the long term. Seneca put it clearly, "The path to greatness is steep." Most people turn away when they see the difficulty ahead. They look for shortcuts, easy wins, or ways to get what they want without putting in the effort. But the reality is, comfort is the greatest enemy of success. If you always choose what is easy, you will never be strong. If you avoid discomfort, you will never grow. If you refuse to sacrifice, you will never achieve anything meaningful. Think about the greatest individuals in history. None of them arrived at success by accident. They endured pain, rejection, failure, and hardship. They sacrificed short-term pleasures for long-term success. They did what others were unwilling to do, and that is why they stood above the rest. Epictetus said, "Difficulties are things that show what men are." The way you respond to hardship determines who you become. If you avoid struggle, you stay weak. If you embrace it, you forge yourself into something stronger. But discipline is not just about hard work, it is about consistency. Many people can be disciplined for a day, a week, or even a month. But true mastery comes from doing the right thing every day, even when motivation fades, even when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain about if I'm going to do what I was born for?'" A Stoic does not wait for motivation. They act because it is their duty to act. So how do you develop this level of discipline? The first step is learning to say no to comfort. Every day you face choices between what is easy and what is necessary. The temptation to sleep in instead of train. The urge to procrastinate instead of work. The pull toward distraction instead of deep focus. But every time you choose discomfort over ease, you strengthen your will. You become someone who does what is necessary, not just what feels good in the moment. The second key is embracing sacrifice as a necessity, not a burden. People avoid sacrifice because they see it as loss, but in reality, every sacrifice is an investment. The time you give up now for learning, training, and improvement will pay back tenfold in the future. Seneca wrote, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." If you want true success, you must focus. That means cutting out distractions, letting go of useless activities, and dedicating yourself fully to what matters. The third step is building an unbreakable mindset. Most people quit when things get hard, but a Stoic does not break under pressure. They become sharper. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, they see them as tests, challenges that strengthen them, refine them, and prepare them for greater things. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The struggle is the path. Success never comes without sacrifice. Discipline is the foundation of everything. Without it, nothing great is possible. The question is not whether you are capable of achieving more. The question is whether you are willing to endure what it takes. The choice is yours: comfort or greatness, ease or mastery, regret or success. 4. Manage your time like a master. How to make every minute work for you. Time is the one resource you can never earn back. You can regain lost money, repair broken relationships, and rebuild your strength. But once a moment is gone, it is gone forever. Yet, most people treat time as if it is infinite, wasting it on distractions, meaningless obligations, and things that add no value to their lives. They scroll endlessly, engage in pointless debates, and procrastinate on what truly matters. But the Stoics understood that how you use your time determines the quality of your life. Seneca warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Most people do not realize they are running out of time until it is too late. They assume they can always start tomorrow, that they will have more time later. But life does not wait. Every hour wasted is an hour that will never return. The Stoic does not live in illusion. They recognize that every minute is an opportunity to grow, to improve, to build something meaningful. Think about how most people spend their days. They wake up, immediately check their phones, and lose an hour before they've even begun their day. They allow interruptions to dictate their schedule, jumping from one distraction to another. And by the end of the day, they wonder why they feel exhausted yet unproductive. But Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do not act as if you have 1,000 years to live. The time to take control is now." Mastering your time starts with ruthlessly eliminating the unnecessary. Most of what fills your day does not actually matter. Useless meetings, mindless entertainment, worrying about things outside of your control. These are all thieves of time. Before you engage in anything, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my goals? Is this truly necessary? If not, cut it out. The Stoics were not just disciplined in thought, but in action. They focused only on what truly mattered. Next, structure your days with intention. Time should not be spent reactively responding to whatever happens. It should be planned. A Stoic does not drift through the day hoping to be productive. They create a system that ensures it. Epictetus taught, "Progress is not achieved by chance but by training." Every morning, decide, what are the 3 most important things I must accomplish today? Prioritize these above all else. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence. It is how they manage their time. Another key to time mastery is protecting deep focus. Most people spend their days in shallow work, constantly distracted, never truly engaging in anything meaningful. But great achievements require undivided attention. When working on something important, remove all distractions, turn off notifications, block out time for deep work, and commit fully. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." If you constantly switch from task to task, you achieve nothing of real value. Finally, treat time as your most valuable possession. If someone tried to steal your money, you would fight back. But when people steal your time through distractions, obligations, or meaningless pursuits, you give it away freely. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness. Every moment counts. Every decision matters. When you take control of your time, you take control of your life. Time is slipping away. The question is, are you using it wisely or letting it be stolen? The choice is yours." 5. Don't chase success. Fall in love with the process. Most people make the mistake of thinking that success is a destination, something to be achieved, a point at which they can finally feel fulfilled. They chase wealth, recognition, and status, believing that once they reach a certain level, they will be happy. But the Stoics understood a deeper truth. Success is not a moment. It is a mindset, a way of living, a process that never ends. If you focus only on the end goal, you will never be satisfied. But if you learn to love the process, the daily effort, the discipline, the grind, then success will come as a natural result. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in chasing dreams of the future, but instead attend to the present." So many people postpone happiness, telling themselves that once they reach a certain level of achievement, then they will finally be at peace. But what happens when they get there? They immediately set another goal, pushing their happiness further into the future. They are never here, never fully present in the journey, always chasing something ahead. But the Stoic doesn't live like this. They understand that the journey itself is where meaning is found. Think about the people who achieve great things: athletes, artists, philosophers, entrepreneurs. The ones who endure, the ones who reach the highest levels, are not those who obsessed over the finish line. They are the ones who fell in love with the process. The runner who trains every morning, rain or shine. The writer who sits down to create, not for fame, but because they love the craft. The Stoic who pursues wisdom, not for recognition, but because it is who they are. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Mastery requires embracing the struggle, the practice, the discipline, without needing immediate rewards. But why do so many people fail at this? The first reason is impatience. People want quick results, immediate recognition, fast success. When they don't see progress immediately, they get discouraged and quit. But Seneca warned, "He who is in a hurry delays the things he seeks." Greatness is not built in days. It is built in years, in decades, in a lifetime of dedication. The Stoic does not rush. They trust the process, knowing that every small step forward is part of something greater. The second reason is attachment to outcomes. Most people tie their self-worth to results. If they succeed, they feel good. If they fail, they feel worthless. But the Stoic understands that the only thing within their control is the effort they put in. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do what is necessary, and let the outcome be what it will." True mastery comes when you can work relentlessly towards something without obsessing over whether you will win or lose. Because in the end, the only thing that matters is who you become through the process. So how do you train yourself to love the process instead of chasing outcomes? The first step is reframing success. Instead of asking, "When will I reach my goal?" start asking, "Did I show up today? Did I push myself today? Did I stay disciplined today?" Success is not about hitting a target, it is about who you are every single day. The second step is embracing the struggle as part of the journey. Most people view obstacles as problems, as things that slow them down. But the Stoics saw things differently. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Every challenge, every failure, every setback is not blocking your path. It is the path. The struggle is what makes you stronger. And finally, detach from external rewards. Stop working only for praise, for status, for recognition. Do the work because it makes you better. Train yourself to enjoy the act of learning, improving, and growing. When you stop needing outside validation, you become unstoppable because nothing can shake you from your path. Chase success, and you may never catch it. But commit to the process, and success will find you. The difference between those who quit and those who master their craft is simple. One waited for results, the other showed up every day, no matter what. 6. Smart solitude. How to build inner strength away from the noise. Most people fear solitude. They associate it with loneliness, with isolation, with being disconnected from the world. But the Stoics saw it differently. To them, solitude was not about escaping people. It was about returning to yourself. It was a space for reflection, for clarity, for sharpening the mind. In a world filled with distractions, noise, and constant demands on your attention, solitude is not a weakness. It is a weapon. Seneca understood this deeply when he wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The strongest people are not those who are constantly surrounded by others, constantly entertained, constantly distracted. The strongest people are those who can sit alone, in silence, and not feel empty. They do not need validation. They do not fear stillness. They use solitude as a tool to think, to plan, to develop unshakable inner strength. But most people avoid solitude because they are afraid of what they might find. When they are alone, without distractions, without entertainment, without noise, they are forced to face themselves, their thoughts, their fears, their insecurities. And for many, this is uncomfortable. So they drown it out with endless scrolling, with pointless conversations, with anything that keeps them from being alone with their own mind. But a Stoic does not run from discomfort. They lean into it. Epictetus warned, "You are a slave to whatever you cannot part with. If you cannot sit with yourself, you are not free." Solitude, when used wisely, is a source of power. It allows you to hear your own thoughts instead of being influenced by the noise of the world. It gives you the space to reflect on your values, to ensure you are living according to your principles, not just following the crowd. It strengthens your ability to be independent, to make decisions based on your wisdom rather than being swayed by external pressure. But there is a difference between productive solitude and unhealthy isolation. The Stoics did not advocate withdrawing from society completely. They believed in contributing to the world, in taking action, in engaging with others in meaningful ways. But they also understood that constant social engagement without time for reflection weakens the mind. Marcus Aurelius balanced both when he wrote, "Men seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But nowhere can a man find a retreat more peaceful than in his own soul." The goal is not to run away from life. It is to create space within it for deep thought and self-mastery. So how do you cultivate smart solitude? It starts with intentional disconnection. Most people never experience true solitude because they are always connected. to their phones, to social media, to endless notifications. But if you never step away from the noise, you will never hear your own thoughts clearly. Set time each day to disconnect. Even a few minutes of undisturbed silence can sharpen your focus. Next, use solitude for deep thinking, not passive consumption. Many people confuse being alone with being productive, but if you spend your solitude mindlessly scrolling or numbing yourself with distractions, you are not actually alone with your thoughts. A Stoic uses solitude to read, to write, to reflect, to train the mind. Instead of filling the silence, use it to strengthen yourself. And finally, learn to enjoy your own company. If you cannot be at peace when you are alone, it is not because solitude is the problem. It is because there is work to be done within. The ability to sit in stillness and feel fulfilled rather than restless is a sign of inner mastery. The greatest minds in history, philosophers, warriors, leaders, understood this. They trained themselves not to fear solitude, but to seek it when needed. The world will always be loud, but those who control their time, their focus, their mind, they will always seek the quiet. Because in the silence, they are not lost. They are stronger. 7. The power of strategic indifference. Why ignoring certain things will make you stronger. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every argument needs a response. Not every problem is yours to solve. Most people spend their days wasting mental and emotional energy on things that do not serve them. Pointless debates, toxic people, unnecessary drama. But the Stoics knew that true strength comes from knowing what to ignore. Marcus Aurelius understood this well when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Most of what disturbs people is not reality itself, but their reaction to it. A stranger's insult ruins their mood for the entire day. A minor inconvenience turns into unnecessary stress. But a Stoic does not give power to these things. They practice strategic indifference, choosing with precision what is worthy of their attention and what is not. Think about how much energy people waste on things beyond their control. They get angry about social media arguments. They obsess over gossip. They react emotionally to every small inconvenience. But Epictetus reminds us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. No one can control you unless you allow them to. No event can disturb your peace unless you let it. Strategic indifference is not about apathy. It's not about withdrawing from life or ignoring real responsibilities. It's about choosing your battles wisely. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what was within their power, their thoughts, their actions, their character. Everything else, they let it go. To develop this strength, you must first identify what is truly important. Most things that upset you do not matter in the long run. A rude comment, forgotten in days. A bad day at work, meaningless in a year. If something will not matter in the future, why let it consume your present? Before reacting to anything, ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? If the answer is no, move on. Next, train yourself to remain unmoved by external chaos. When someone insults you, silence is often the most powerful response. When someone tries to drag you into drama, refusing to engage weakens them, not you. Seneca advised, "A wise man is content with his own approval." You do not need to respond to everything. Your peace is yours to protect. Another key practice is limiting exposure to negativity. Some people thrive on conflict, on gossip, on stirring up emotions in others. The Stoic does not entertain such things. They avoid toxic people, ignore foolish arguments, and refuse to let distractions pull them away from their purpose. They understand that what they feed their mind shapes their reality. And finally, accept that you cannot control everything, and that's okay. Many people stress over things that will never be within their power: the economy, politics, the opinions of strangers. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have been made by nature to bear whatever happens to you. A Stoic does not waste time resisting reality. They adapt, they endure, and they move forward with focus and strength. Not everything is worth your energy. The strongest minds are not those who engage in every battle, but those who choose their battles carefully. Indifference to what does not matter is not weakness, it is wisdom. Because when you stop wasting energy on the unnecessary, you free yourself to focus on what truly matters. 8. Be tough on yourself, but kind to others. The true formula for success. Weak people make excuses. They justify their laziness, blame circumstances, and expect life to hand them results without putting in the effort. But the Stoics rejected this mindset entirely. They believed that if you want to master yourself, if you want to achieve anything of value, you must be ruthlessly disciplined with yourself. However, this discipline is not meant to be turned outward. It is not an excuse to judge, criticize, or belittle others. A true Stoic is hard on themselves, but patient with the world. Marcus Aurelius lived by this principle when he wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Most people do the opposite. They are full of self-justifications, but harsh in their judgment of others. They expect perfection from the world, yet make excuses for their own shortcomings. But the Stoic does not waste time blaming, complaining, or expecting life to be fair. They take full responsibility for their own actions, their own discipline, their own progress. Think about how many people allow weakness to rule their lives. They say they will wake up early, but they hit snooze. They promise themselves they will train, read, improve. But the moment it gets difficult, they quit. They tell themselves they will stay calm under pressure, yet the smallest inconvenience makes them lose control. A Stoic does not tolerate this kind of weakness in themselves. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Strength is built through self-discipline. If you do not hold yourself to high standards, who will? But while a Stoic is unforgiving with their own excuses, they do not hold others to the same rigid expectations. They understand that most people are ruled by emotion, that many lack self-awareness, that weakness is common. Instead of frustration, they meet others with patience. Instead of arrogance, they offer understanding. Seneca reminded us, "Whenever you see someone going astray, show him the right path, not with arrogance or fault-finding, but with kindness and guidance." A Stoic does not waste time judging, they lead by example. This balance, firmness with oneself, patience with others, is what separates the strong from the weak. Most people either lack discipline or become bitter and harsh. The Stoic finds the middle path. They hold themselves accountable every day. They push through discomfort. They demand excellence from themselves, not because the world is watching, but because they refuse to be weak. But they do not use their strength to belittle those who have not yet found their way. They know that each person is on their own journey. So how do you apply this in daily life? Start by removing your own excuses. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop justifying procrastination. Stop tolerating laziness in yourself. If something must be done, do it now. Train your body. Train your mind. Wake up early. Build habits that reinforce strength. Refuse to let yourself be ruled by weakness. At the same time, stop expecting perfection from others. People will be flawed. They will make mistakes. They will fall short. Let them. It is not your job to change them. Show them the right way by walking it yourself. Speak less, do more, lead by action, not by judgment. The Stoics' formula for success is simple. Be relentless with yourself and forgiving with others. Hold yourself to the highest standard. Push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Never settle for mediocrity. But when dealing with the world, be patient, be wise, be kind. Because true strength is not just about power, it is about control. And the one who controls themselves fully is the one who commands respect, influence, and ultimate success. 9. Failure is not the end, it's your greatest teacher. Most people fear failure. They see it as a sign of weakness, as proof that they are not good enough, as a reason to give up. But the Stoics saw failure for what it truly is, not an obstacle, but a necessary part of growth. A Stoic does not fear setbacks. They use them. They do not let failure define them. They let it refine them. Because every failure carries a lesson, every mistake holds an opportunity, and every fall is a chance to rise stronger than before. Seneca warned against the illusion of an easy life when he said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The only way to build resilience is through resistance. The only way to grow is to be tested. If you avoid failure, you avoid the very thing that could make you unstoppable. But most people don't see it this way. They take failure personally. They believe it means they are not good enough. They let one defeat shatter their confidence instead of sharpening their skills. A Stoic, however, knows that every failure is simply feedback. It is not a reason to quit. It is a lesson on how to do better next time. Think about the greatest minds, leaders, and innovators throughout history. None of them succeeded on their first attempt. They failed repeatedly. They were rejected, doubted, ridiculed, but they did not stop. They adjusted, they learned, and they tried again. Epictetus taught, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." True strength is not found in avoiding failure, but in using it as fuel. But why do so many people fear failure? Because they are trapped by their egos. They believe that failure is a reflection of their worth, that mistakes define them. But the Stoic detaches from their ego. They see failure not as a personal attack, but as a teacher. If they fail in business, they study what went wrong and improve. If they fail in discipline, they refine their habits. If they fail in relationships, they reflect and grow. They do not dwell on failure. They extract its lessons and move forward. To develop this mindset, the first step is reframing failure as growth. Instead of thinking, "I failed, I'm not good enough," train yourself to think, "I failed, now I know what to fix." Every mistake is data. Every setback is information. The question is not whether you will fail, the question is what you will learn from it. The next step is removing emotional attachment to failure. Most people let failure hurt them because they tie their self-worth to outcomes. But a Stoic understands that the only thing that matters is effort. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do what is necessary. The rest does not concern you." If you gave your best effort, if you acted with discipline and purpose, then the outcome is irrelevant. Success will come eventually, but only if you persist. And finally, develop an anti-fragile mindset. The Stoic does not merely survive failure, they thrive because of it. Every difficulty makes them stronger, every challenge sharpens their skills. Instead of fearing setbacks, they welcome them, knowing that each one is an opportunity to improve. The more you fail, the more you grow. The more you are tested, the more unshakable you become. Most people quit after failing once or twice. That is why most people remain average. But those who embrace failure, those who learn from it, those who refuse to let it break them, those are the ones who rise above everyone else. Because failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the path to success. 10. Embrace chaos. How to turn uncertainty into strength. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, prepare, or try to control things, chaos will always find its way in. Unexpected setbacks, sudden changes, moments where nothing goes as expected. These are not exceptions, they are constants. Most people resist uncertainty, fearing the unknown, trying desperately to make life predictable. But the Stoics knew that control is an illusion. You cannot control the external world, but you can control how you respond to it. Marcus Aurelius embraced this reality when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The weak try to fight against uncertainty, wasting energy, resisting things they cannot change. The strong, however, adapt. They do not panic in the face of change. They adjust, they pivot, they use it to their advantage. They know that chaos is not their enemy. It is their training ground. Think about how most people react when life doesn't go their way. They complain, they blame circumstances, they feel like victims of bad luck. But Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A Stoic sees disorder not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity. If a plan fails, they find another way. If an unexpected challenge arises, they use it to grow. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "How can I use this?" But how do you develop this level of resilience? The first step is accepting uncertainty as a fundamental part of life. Many people believe that one day they will reach a point where everything is stable, predictable, and comfortable. But this is an illusion. Life will always be uncertain. The Stoic does not wait for peace. They create it within themselves. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." Most suffering comes not from reality, but from resisting it. When you stop fighting uncertainty and start working with it, you become unshakable. Next, train yourself to thrive in chaos. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations on purpose. Take cold showers. Do difficult tasks without complaining. Step into the unknown with confidence. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the less fear it holds over you. A Stoic does not crumble when things become unpredictable. They remain steady, calm, and adaptable. And finally, shift your mindset from control to mastery. You cannot